it'll take a minute before we get there.
Okay, muting now. Don't worry, I'm going to take this screen off.
Sounds good. All right, so here we go. Welcome back to episode 4 of The Forge, where 2 enter and 1 leaves, beaten, battered, and bruised. I'm your host, Tiny Grimes, and as always, I'm joined by Srandals. Wait.
Hello.
Maybe that's not as always, but at least for this week and probably for all foreseeable weeks, Srandals will be the co-host, because I can only assume something awful has happened to Jake. But this week we have 2 tournament titans joining us. On one side we have SeomanReborn. Seoman has an illustrious past in the tournament. He took 2nd place in one of the qualifiers for the pre-patch environment. He's taken several top 8s in both constructed and unheroic, and this all culminated in an invitation to the Forge Watch Invitational. Unless you thought he was only a pre-patch successful player like Jake Almighty, he actually scored a top 16 in the post-patch environment in the Forge Watch Invitational qualifier as well. On the other side, we have PTKtempo, another titan of the tournament scene. Now, this man has quite an illustrious set of accomplishments. He has 2 top 4 constructed constructed tournament finishes. Actually, he has 3 top 4s. He has a Team Unified win. He has all kinds of top 8s. He was the 5th overall seed for the Forge Watch Invitational, and he missed out on the top 8 of the Forge Watch Invitational by that much, only losing in the finals to me before getting knocked out. So this should be a really good battle between 2 of the top tournament players in the game. And let's just move into this. We have an interesting list. Last week we had Growbots versus Growbots. This week we do not. Srandals, what do you think of Seoman's list here?
I'm excited to see something different. It's actually kind of similar to what I ended up running in the last Team Unified. And it's very explosive when things go well. But the problem is he's trying to play the removal game with Dreadbolts and Epidemics and Cola Weeks. And if he doesn't draw them on time, on level, it's really easy to fall behind.
Okay. Yeah, I've played this quite a bit myself. The problem I faced was when I got Drix, the deck was amazing. It was like, hey, here's Drix. And here's another Drix. Oh, and here's another Drix, by the way. And when I didn't find my Drixes, I just lost terribly.
Well, you just love Gox anyway. You're just going to play Gox and Zemus if you play this deck.
Okay, I will admit, I do have a problem. I have a Gox problem, but that's not the point. So the problem I found is that it has an amazing first plan, but it doesn't really have, in my experience, a solid backup plan. So it's like if the Drix plan doesn't work, then you have sort of this hodgepodge of like Metamines that are on the board, not being buffed by Drix, and then maybe you're throwing out your Zemus or your Devourers, and then against a deck like Growbots, where they have a solid first plan and a solid backup plan, I found that I would struggle sometimes if I didn't find my Drixes.
Yeah, Bright Steel Gargoyle's a pretty good backup plan, but the problem is he only has 2, and PTK's Gargoyles will be better because they have the Sentinels to back them up.
Yeah, so essentially I'm really excited for this because I want to see how a top-level player plays this Drix deck, because apparently I don't play it correctly, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play it even better than I would play it. All right, so let's take a look at our other deck list here. So on the other side, we have PTKtempo playing what amounts to basically a revolutionary deck. I mean, he's brought us a deck that the meta hasn't seen yet. What do you think about this deck?
Well, I think this deck is at the point now where we talk about 2, 3 cards. Like everything else is exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think he has his removal suite right with the 3 Bashers and 2 Botanimites. I think a lot of the top players are playing exactly like that. He plays the 3rd Battle Tech, which I personally don't love, but I know a lot of other top players like it. And the 1 Echo Wisp, which AJE also played. It just makes me sad to not see a Jetpack. Jetpack is the most fun card in the deck.
Yeah, I agree. This list is incredibly similar to my list. I have 2 Echo Wisps in mind for that third tactician, and I have a jetpack in. I think I still might only be running 2 Bashers. It seems like I have to be running 3, so I'm trying to figure out what the last card is that I'm missing from this. But essentially, it's very similar to what I'm running as well, and I think Echo Wisp is it's a really phenomenal card in the mirror. And the funny thing is, I had been running it, and I told Jake that he wasn't allowed to tell anyone about my new secret tech until the next tournament. And then AJ played it on the Forge. And I was both happy to see that and saddened to see that my, quote, secret tech was not secret at all. So
I really like it in this matchup because you'll have those under-leveled metamines that get pumped to ridiculous attack by Drix. And Echo Wisp can just happily hop in front of those and take them out.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be pretty decent. So who do you think is going to win in this matchup then?
I think PTK has the advantage. I think his deck is a slight favorite in a vacuum, and he's one of the top players. So I have to go with him. Have to go with my former Team Unified teammate. So PTK for me.
All right. I think PTK is going to win as well, but I'm just going to say this. I'm openly rooting for Seoman. Not because I don't like PTK. I like PTK very much. But I really want to see Drix handle this deck, because this is the matchup for why I stopped playing the Drix deck, because I just felt like the Growbots deck has too many plans that it can enact even simultaneously at times. It can do its primary and backup plan at the same time. Whereas it feels to me like that Drix deck has a plan, is trying to execute it, and when it goes wrong, the wheels fall off the bus. So I'm really rooting for Seoman, but I have to say I think PTK has the edge here. So I'm going to agree with that assessment and conclude PTK is going to win. But I think we should ask the man himself, Seoman, what he thinks about his own deck. So let's bring him in. All right, welcome to the show, Seoman. I think he just likes his music so much he's not going to say anything. Nope, he thinks we're starting.
Hey guys.
There he is. Welcome, Seoman.
Sorry about that.
First question for you. Why did you pick the Drix deck?
I had my sound all turned off. I wasn't expecting to talk beforehand.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
So why did you pick the Drix deck this week?
So the reason why I've been playing Drix actually quite a bit. Ever since the end of the Invitational, I kind of just stopped playing the Drix deck. Or stopped playing the Werewolf Bots deck. I played it for the Invitational, and then I just kind of decided to go. I wanted to play something completely different. So I decided to go with the Drix decks, and I've had really good success playtesting against some people, and even playing against the queue. And even in the actual tournament we had 2 weeks ago, I only dropped 1 game during Swiss, and I played a lot of Werewolf Bots decks, and I felt really good and confident since then. And since then I've changed the deck up a little bit, and I just kind of like the interaction of being able to have more consistent draws, and with Gox, as well as I just really think that like the kind of games you can just end almost instantly with a good Drix draw is just really too good for me to pass up. So that's why I like playing it.
Did you say my favorite word? Did you just say the word Gox?
Yes.
I'm with you. I am with you. I want to see Gox win. But I must admit, I'm nervous. So what do you do when you don't find Drix?
So the backup plan really is basically Zimus removal. At that point, you become a control deck. In fact, I almost always prioritize Gox. Even over, like, say if I'm going first and I see Gox and Drix in my hand, I'm playing Gox first. Most people would say that they would play Drix first just because you can buff up your other guys, but you don't know what you're going to be drawing in your next hand. Whereas Gox actually allows you to have more options available, and also at the same time leveled up later can help you end the game and win the game by out leveling your opponent sometimes, and finding Zimus and playing him on time whenever you need him is invaluable, especially against like some of these Warward bots decks where they don't want to level up Botanimate. They don't. It's not part of their game plan. They'd rather level a creature instead, and making them have to respond to it with that kind of card really messes up their game plan, I think, a lot more than it does you trying to draw Zimus and being a control deck until then.
So what I'm hearing more than anything is that all the people who told me I was wrong for prioritizing Gox were wrong.
At least from my experience, I 100% play Gox turn 1 if Gox is in my hand, and it's
All
like
right.
I only have one play.
I got to say, I'm looking forward to seeing this even more now because I love Gox. I don't know if you knew that, but if I could marry Gox, I would. My wife might be upset, but she would understand because Gox is amazing. All right, so what do you think? Do you think you're going to be able to take down PTK? Do you think you're going to be able to sweep him first?
No, I don't think so. But I don't think that I'll. I don't think that this is going to be a 0-0 in the other 0-3 in the other direction either, though.
Okay. So what is your prediction? Are you predicting victory or defeat?
I am predicting victory, of course. God, why would I want to play if I didn't want to win? But
Good answer.
This is going to be kind of difficult. I mean, this is going to be difficult for me. That type of deck list is hard to play against sometimes. And my positioning when I was playing it in 2 weeks ago was really what screwed me more than anything. And I think I've corrected those issues, and I also changed some cards around. So we'll see how it does.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. Let's go ahead and bring on our second contestant today, Mr. PTKtempo.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt
Wow,
to
PTK sounds
poison
just
and
like Samuel L.
destroy
Jackson.
my
It's
brothers.
crazy.
And you
Welcome, PTK/Sam. Uh-oh, he can't hear us either. Let's see. Are you still here, Randalls?
I am still here.
Okay, good. I was getting worried that everyone had abandoned me. Not sure what's going on with PTK. Let's see if we can get him around. Oh, there he is. He's
I'm
using his
here.
mic now. There, he's back. All right, cool.
Sorry,
Alright.
I was all confused with the stream delay. So
Ah.
I was listening
Yep,
and then got behind.
no problem. So, why'd you pick this revolutionary deck list that we haven't seen before?
To be honest, I think it's just what I'm most comfortable with, and I'm not really big on the PTKtempo's removal deck that is championed by Blue Decks and a few others. I'm much more comfortable with this. I like this deck style, and man, it's just the deck, and I'm just really excited for set 2, so we can break up the monotony, and I can draft and build the collection again and brew new decks. And I'm sorry if the people out there are expecting some trash talk, but that's not going to happen because I have nothing but the utmost respect for SeomanReborn, and I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. We hung out and talked a little bit at Gen Con, and I think he's a great guy, and I think it's going to be an incredible match.
All right, sounds good. I think that is our cue to actually get on with this match. So good luck to both of you. I'm rooting for a tie.
Thanks, sir.
All right, so let's move on to our match. The hand for PTK looks crazy for a second, but it'll be fixed in just a moment as he gets into his game. And we have these nice floating heads in the middle of nowhere for now, but they will be attached to bodies soon enough. All right. The drama as we wait. As PTK chooses which of his decks he's going to run Is he going to run the one he said he was going to run? Or is he going to audible and not run that deck? So while we're waiting for a moment, Randalls, are you playing in the Unheroic tournament on Friday?
There's a pretty good chance I will.
Nice.
It's a reasonable time for me. The 11 p.m. start is doable. Better than some of the 2 a.m.s that I've had over here.
All right. Well, it looks like true to form, Seoman did play a Gox right out of the gate. So he said he was going to, and he did. And now looking at Seoman's hand, or PTK's hand, I mean, he's got some tough choices here. He could go right with Arc Flight, and then he has to wonder, does he have a Cull? He doesn't have a way to buff it out of Cull range. Is he going to play his Battle Tactician? I'm not really sure what he's going to play, to be honest. I think he's going to play, though, Arc Flight, and then I think Echo Wisp at like 2-3.
I probably play Arc Flight and Thundersoar. I think Thundersoar is really good in this matchup.
I do too. Thundersoar is amazing, and Thundersoar might be good here because then he would have to choose who he's going to cull. Is he really going to have 2 culls? Probably not.
Yeah. If Seoman is stuck going to the Zemus plan for whatever reason, then Thundersoar becomes a very good answer.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it looks like he was considering Dreadbolt there. Epidemic is a tough choice because you don't want to play it in this matchup. It's just a bad card, but it's really good right in this one spot.
Yeah, you really want that Arc Flight off the board.
He could even double Epidemic here. Would you double Epidemic here?
I would go Dreadbolt Epidemic over leveling both of them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I could go double Epidemic. Yeah, Dreadbolt Epidemic seems pretty reasonable. Leveling the Dreadbolt's not bad.
Really, yeah, it's not bad, but it's not great. It feels ugly. I'd be tempted to play
He's going to do that.
like that.
I think I would have.
He threatens to get blown out here.
He does. I think I would have gone Dreadbolt Epidemic because now he's going to get the 3 cards.
Yeah, I think that's the safer play.
I think he's going to go. If it was me, I think I would put Thundersoar in 3, Weirwood in, say, 5, and the Gargoyle in 2. What would you do here?
Yeah, that sounds right to me. I
really like growing the Thundersoar off of his Gox that should not be able to kill him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
the play you said.
He'll be out of range of Cull, which will be good because he'll be a 6 attack. Feels like a pretty strong play. And it trades off the Zemus as well, so he'll have a pretty good board advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you let him get... I guess he probably couldn't take out Gox anyway, but you don't care too much about the 1 extra card right now. It's later in the game where the extra cards start to matter.
Yeah, exactly. So PTK is really thinking here. What is he gonna do? I guess the question would be, what are the other options? He could play something like Tactician in the middle. He could play Thundersoar. Well, probably. See, it feels like it's either Tactician or Thundersoar because you have to play Patriarch. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Patriarch has to come down. Gargoyle is the only robot, so he has to come down.
Yeah, and so that's the decision. I don't think it's a decision for me personally. Or maybe he's considering Basher, which actually wouldn't work at all. So
yeah, that can't. Yeah, Basher just doesn't work.
Yeah,
because you can't pump it enough. Yeah, I think the play you said first is what he'll end up doing.
Yeah, I think it's the only play, but I suppose you could do Battle Tech in the middle if you really wanted to. So it looks like
he may be considering that.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the Thundersoar leveled in this matchup, though.
Yeah, exactly. This looks like a pretty huge early advantage play. I mean, we don't know if he'll be able to hold off or hold on to this advantage, but it's a really big early advantage.
Yeah.
Leveling an extra card, 2 great creatures on the board with the Gargoyle and the Thundersoar, and leveling a Patriarch is really good. So, looking down at Seoman, does he go something like this is the hand where I look at it and I go, okay, what am I supposed to do with this hand?
Yeah, like so many cards he wants to play.
And a little pump completely blows him out. Like if he goes Drix, Gox or something, PTK is able to move over the Gargoyle, buff it, Sentinel, if he has these cards, and just completely blow him out.
Yeah, so one option is to go to battle and then Dreadbolt that Thundersaur.
Oh my goodness.
But that just feels bad.
I mean, it might be what he has to do, but wow, that seems really bad. And then just play like a Gox, and then for your whole first level so far, you've played 2 Goxes, 2 Dreadbolts.
Yeah, you probably want to play Drix in 4
Yeah.
and Gox in, I guess, 1. There's no good place to put that second Gox.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe the best place is to block the Patriarch, because that way the Gargoyle doesn't blow him out, but that's not a great play, I don't think.
Yeah, then Aurora blows him out.
Right, exactly. Everything. There's so many blowouts that PTK has at his disposal that maybe the best play is just to go Dreadbolt, Drix in 4 and move on. I think you have to Drix, though. I think if you play Gox, you lose.
Yeah, I think he needs the Drix.
I think he wants to play Gox, but I don't know. I don't think we can get away with never leveling a Drix. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, you need the Drix in play to come back. He's not good on his own for coming back.
Oh, okay. So he could do that. He could Dreadbolt the Gargoyle and put like Drix in 1, but then that Thundersaur just, I guess it doesn't do that much damage. Well, yeah, it might, because does he have a lot of 6 attacks? If that Drix lives...
Well, with the Drix in play, yeah.
Yeah, then he should. Okay, so he was going to do that route. He's going to take a bunch of damage from the Thundersaur and not worry too much about that. So now, do we just go Basher, Roar, and win?
Yep, I think so.
I mean, that just seems completely
There's no reason to
overwhelming.
overthink it. Sometimes the math just works out.
Yeah, I mean, and now you've got a 12-8 Thundersaur where there's nothing in Seoman's deck that can even begin to handle that. That's just a rough spot to be in for Seoman.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, yeah, he is playing the word. There was just a lengthy delay there. I was confused that PTK was actually thinking about that play. Okay. So, Seoman...
He's got a reasonable play here.
Yeah.
Either Gargoyle or Zemus in... Ooh,
What?
he's going to Epidemic.
Wow.
Oh, he's going to do it that way.
Oh, wow.
I would rather have the Gargoyle over the Zemus.
Me too. I would have played the Gargoyle in 3, put the Matrix Warden in 2, buffing the Gargoyle, killing the Basher. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's... I don't like that.
Even if you're going to do it the way he did, I think he should have put Matrix Warden in 4, because at least the Basher dies then.
Right, yeah, I hate just throwing a guy away, especially
Yeah.
when it could trade. And I mean, the Basher is getting through for more damage anyway.
Right.
So
Interesting. I think I would have played the Gargoyle there, because he already has almost a full board. And the Gargoyle is so destructive. Roaming around.
I'm okay
killing
with Arc.
Grixis.
I'm okay with Arc Fight there because if he calls him, then PTK just pushes his advantage on board.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But I just like the Gargoyle to be leveled right there. I feel like leveling an Arc Flight there, you might get an underleveled robot for free, but it feels like a Gargoyle.
Yeah, the thing is,
really
I think I like underleveled Arc Fights more than most people because you can get that level 1 robot followed by the level 2 Patriarch.
That's
and
true.
then the game's just over.
That is a good point. So it's funny here because PTK has that level 2 Wisp, which would be totally soul crushing here, except for he has nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
And so it really worked out poorly for him in that regard.
Yeah, this loses him some ground for sure.
I would be tempted to go Tactician 3, Thundersaur 5. Yes, the Thundersaur dies, but he trades, and you just leveled another Thundersaur who just wins this matchup.
Yeah, I'm tempted to play the Echo Wisp just to get level 3 Echo Wisp.
Interesting. Just get it in your deck.
I think there's only been one Epidemic leveled.
Yep, that's true. There was only the one.
And Seoman's deck is not great at handling multiple lanes.
That's true. So you could go Battletech, Battle, then overwrite the Basher and Wisp across, or would you overwrite the Patriarch and Wisp 1-2?
I would probably overwrite the Basher just so you don't get completely blown out by Epidemic 2.
Yep, that's what I was thinking as well. Also, it trades off a pretty big Matrix Warden.
Right.
So we'll see what he does. I think that must be what he's... Oh my goodness. Seomon is down to 38 already.
It's also an option to play the Echo Wisp in lane 1.
Yeah, and just not overwrite.
Yeah.
That might be a better play right now because Seomon is so low. I wasn't really looking at his health. It's so early in the game.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about 13 damage.
Yeah. So he just does it 1-2.
Yeah, I think that's good. Although, well, yeah. I'm tempted to leave the Patriarch around, but
yeah,
this is fine too.
The level 2 Patriarch would buff it. Should be good. The Basher dies to about anything. That's a really odd play, I think, to Epidemic here.
Yeah. He didn't put anything into Patriarch range that wasn't there already.
Right. It just feels like he could have played a guy and accomplished something very similar. I mean, the Echo Wisp being 2 less isn't that much. It's not trading with the Drix anyway. Maybe he's thinking in case he roars or Battletech 2.
It actually protects his Drix from a fair number of things.
Yep, exactly. So maybe that's why he did it. Let's see. So do you consider going Basher overwrite into just to kill that Drix? Or are you more of the mindset that Seomon's at 38, let's just push through and win?
I think I'd probably push through.
Okay.
Not sure exactly with what. I think Matrix Warden to block the other Matrix Warden is pretty clear.
Okay, so he is doing that way.
Yeah.
I think I like this play.
Oh, he's doing okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess with the Basher surviving, that looks a lot better.
Yeah, but it also really negates anything Seomon could do. Like, he's continually now on his back foot.
Yeah, except that all of PTK's guys were pretty weak anyway. So having one big meta mind isn't that scary. It's not going to swing a trade.
That play was pretty good, except for the fact that he can do something like Arc Flight, Thundersoar, Weirwood 2, and
that's where this deck is amazing.
Yeah, like it looks for a second. If you're Seomon, you're like, maybe I have a chance. Oh wow, that was really soul crushing, because he can put that Thundersoar in front of the Matrix Warden, kill the Matrix Warden, and have a giant Thundersoar who pretty much just wins the game next turn. That's pretty big.
Well, he's got a Thundersoar that's gonna be at 3 health. So yeah, that's still pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, he has to find a Dreadbolt or that Thundersoar.
And so PTK is playing this well. Just ignore the Zemus, put threats in as many lanes as you can.
Exactly. When you have someone down to 24, just win.
Yeah.
So he pretty much has to Dreadbolt the Thundersoar, which will that actually leave 2 Arc Flights on the board?
He's just dead.
My goodness, poor Seomon. Yeah, I don't see a good option here, because if he doesn't Dreadbolt the Thundersoar just wins because it breaks through for so much damage. And in fact, looking at PTK's hand, it'll break through for even 5 more damage if he wants it to.
The best play starts with that little gear in the left corner.
The best play, the only play.
All plays are equal right now. That one just gets there the fastest.
Yes, I think I would have to agree with that. So that was a really interesting demonstration of how the Growbots deck works, where Seomon did have the one moment where things looked okay, and then they went from okay to complete desolation in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, that Arc Flight, as long as it sticks around, doesn't have to be big.
Yeah, he got quite a few triggers from it, and it's just too much. So is he dead on the board? 18-23. Nope. If PTK has no pump in his hand, which his deck has about 1 million pump cards, then then Seoman would be okay. But we know he has 2 pump cards. Actually, 3 pump cards. He's trying to decide which pump card he would rather play. All right. So
the drama.
like
There
we have a victory here.
And the tiny rubbins for good measure.
Wait, what? And there we go. So PTK wins the first one. That worked out exactly how I was terrified it would work out for Seoman. That he just didn't get a Drix engine going. He never really had anything that great happening. And PTK just sort of dictated that game. And Seoman was always trying to react. And he just couldn't react enough. Would you evaluate the game in the same way?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way it goes with this matchup.
Yep, so this time, rooting heavily for Seoman to be able to get that Drix engine going so we can see what it looks like when it's at its best.
Yeah, I think when it's the scariest is when you've got one Drix powering up the next one who comes into play, powering up the next one, and it just keeps bouncing back and forth.
Exactly. And you can chain the Drixes. I went into the queue for about, I think, 3 days I was using the Drix deck. Not this one, but a similar one. Basically because of my love of Gox. I did a week where I said, I'm only playing Gox this week, and I will make Gox tier 1 again. And not tier 1, but the best deck in the meta. And I wasn't able to pull that off.
Yeah, I'd love it if there was some secret deck still out there, but I kind of don't think so.
Yeah.
But Gox will rise again. Gox will always be good.
Set 2, I think, will be the Gox set. And I only say that because it has to be. He's amazing. And if it's not, then my new prediction will be set 3 will be the Gox set.
Yeah, it's like, do you have any cards in your deck that you would like to draw? Okay, he's good.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard for me to not play him when I'm like my Grobots deck. I tinkered around with just throwing Gox in it, but the difference is the Grobots deck loves every card already. You don't actually care what you draw.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of like Weirwood in that his body's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That on its own is not great, but it's pretty decent.
Okay,
and
so
his
real quick,
ability is always good.
That was a really bad start for PTK. Seeing 2 of his Bashers, like this could be dangerous. He saw 2 Bashers and a Battle Tech. He didn't play the Battle Tech, so he has not no good reactions, but limited reactions. So if Seoman had been able to go Drix here, he would have been in amazing shape, and instead he has like the worst possible hand he could have.
Yeah, I think that hurts less in this matchup than it does against the Mirror, because like Arc Flight's a higher priority target, and the math works out a lot better. Because the Basher doesn't quite take out Drix. He needs a little help.
Yep.
So I think he'll be fine. It means he'll be seeing a higher concentration of his good robots.
Oh, that worked out really well. So he was able to draw into Drix.
Nice.
So that was good. Sort of rescued him. Let's see. So he's got Gargoyle. I think if it's me, I'm playing Gargoyle. And then
Gargoyle.
Probably a Sentinel in front of an Adept.
I might play the Matrix Warden just so that an Epidemic still lets me kill the Adept. I think it's close. I think it hurts him pretty badly to see both of these Sentinels now, though.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you need to be able to save the Sentinel for later. Okay, that's reasonable. Just buff him, take him out, and then so not engage with that Gargoyle and hope that maybe unlikely because you already saw 2 Sentinels, but hope to draw a Sentinel, move over in front of an Adept and blow him out. And looky here, he got it.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Matrix Warden there. I think the Patriarch deck usually doesn't like to block, although having seen 2 of his Sentinels, that's less of a big deal. I think we'll see Epidemic here, and it's going to...
I think you have to block that Drix, though, if you can just kill it with a Matrix Warden.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have a whole lot else that fits very well in that slot.
Alright, so he went Gox. Wow, he's an Epidemic there. I mean, I guess it makes sense because it doesn't kill Drix. Well, I don't know.
I think Epidemic's fine there.
I think it is too. I really hate playing Epidemic against Weirwood decks if I can help it, but it certainly worked out well. So
yeah, sometimes it's just the best play on board by so much that you kind of.
I agree. It's just hard to do it. It looks like you go Arc Flight, Sentinel. Sorry, not Arc Flight. Battletech's in the middle. Sentinel, move over, Gargoyle, blow out the Adept, kill the Drix, and then he's just left with a Gox. That looks pretty solid to me. What do you think?
Yep, that looks perfect.
And the problem is you're seeing a Thundersword that you desperately want to play. You're seeing an Arc Flight that you would desperately like to
actually,
play.
there is a problem with that. The Gargoyle will die.
Oh, yeah. Wow, he's an 8. That's a good point. It might be better to play the Thundersword there and then.
Or you can go... Yeah, Thundersword's fine. You could go Gargoyle in the middle. Yeah, this will work too. He's just going to hit for 3 with the Gargoyle and block with the Sentinel.
Yep, that's reasonable. And then he has no one dying, 3 guys on board. I think that's the best to the board play. Thundersoar could have been a promising late game play. So it often comes, Soulforge often comes down to that, right? What is the best play now? What is the best play later?
See, I don't like that lane placement there of Drix. I don't like giving him the option to move over.
Yeah.
All
I can
it
hear
takes
that,
is
because then if he has some sort of buff, which he does, he can just move right over and take him out. The problem is now he can't.
I understand why he's doing it. He's trying to play around the Battletech in the middle.
Right, yep.
But he could have guaranteed that Drix would not face combat.
Do you go Thundersoar in the middle or do you go Matrix Warden here, buff, or do you even go Botanimate and try to have some sort of Botanimate answer?
I think I go Matrix Warden pumping the Gargoyle and just take it out that way.
Yeah, I think that's the best play as well. Get it off the board now so he can't pump. I think that's better than Matrix Warden and 3 buffing himself. Okay, yep, he did that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you want to give him time to react.
Yeah, exactly. If you can clear his board, if you can constantly clear off the Drix to where he can't cycle them, that's when the Drix player is in trouble, I think.
Yeah.
So many Epidemics. Wow. I mean, they're all soul crushing. So the problem here is they look great now, but late game he's gonna be drawing all these Epidemic 2s, and maybe they'll be good, but there's a good chance they will not be good, and it's gonna be tough for him.
Yeah, and that Devour, it's really nice to get that leveled up, because that can be a win condition.
Yeah, and especially against Growbots, it's really good. It makes me a little bit tempted to Botanimate since I've seen it, because a Devour 2 can run away, but you can usually rein it in with a Thundersoar. So I think I would be more likely here to just play my 2 best cards and go Thundersoar, Gargoyle.
Yeah. I think Botanimate is tempting. It's not... Well, nothing you level here can help you with his level 2 Devour if he draws it the next few turns.
Right. Yeah, so I think you pass Botanimate.
It's close. I think it's close. Because that level 2 Devourer can start to run away with the game to the point where even a Thundersoar can't stop it.
Mm-hmm. Especially with all the Epidemics that he has, and with how many Sentinel blowouts PTK is doing, there's an even greater chance that that's going to happen, I think. All right, so it looks like he is going to go what I would label this sort of the safe play.
Yeah, I think that's
Has
fine.
he leveled any Thundersoars?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. It seems like a mistake to me. So here's a question. Would you have put the Gargoyle in 1 knowing he only takes 1 damage from that sapling?
It depends. I think in this case, probably yes.
Okay.
Because, well, actually no. He has 2 level 2 Epidemics. Which would let the sapling take out the Gargoyle. And you really, And a level 2 epidemic brings a gargoyle down to a 1/1.
Right.
But with patriarchs in your deck, that's okay. That still
Yeah.
has some value.
They're always able to come back from that. All right, so this is a tricky spot because he's not going to be able to remove this Drick. So what does he do? He's obviously playing Patriarch 2 and Gargoyle 2, but where would you play them?
I think I throw the gargoyle in front of Drix and take the risk. Because he pumps to 12 usually,
Mm-hmm.
which forces Seoman to use one more card. Actually,
I think I would put
yeah.
Weirwood in front of him because I don't want to risk losing my
You're right. Yeah,
Gargoyle.
gargoyle is definitely more valuable.
I don't even think I would block the Metamind. Yeah, I think I would have empty laned the Gargoyle.
I think with the
Maybe
5
2.
armor against that sapling, you just go ahead and take it out.
Oh yeah, he did it post combat. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Then I'm fine with that. I was thinking he was doing that pre-combat and then going to battle. Yeah, this is gonna be really good. So I actually think. Okay, so this is where Epidemic is tricky. How many Weirwoods did PTK level? I'm thinking he leveled 2 on level 1.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, so if he did do 2, that means an Epidemic 2, while soul crushing, puts everyone in range of that other Weirwood.
It's the self blowout here.
Now maybe
potential.
Seoman is smarter than we are, and he remembers that he only did 1 Weirwood. And if that's the case, then that play is totally fine. But if
Yeah, that
not,
could
it's
very
an
well be.
incredibly risky play.
I'm really tempted to, instead of that epidemic, to put a Gox down. Because he immediately gets that pump.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, you force a gargoyle to run into him.
So I think you trade off the Drix and the Metamind. I mean, you could put the
Alright, so
Gargoyle.
here-
You could put a Thundersaur in 4, and then put the Matrix Ward in 5, buffing the Thundersaur. It lives. You finally get one leveled, which is, it's really your win condition. I don't know what's happening with the lack of Thundersaurs. I'm a little worried for PTK in that regard.
Yeah, I think I move the level 1 gargoyle out of the way. And what do you do? Well, the question is whether you want to put 5 damage on Drix at the expense of your gargoyle. Because you're
I'm
in
not
danger.
sure I want to do that.
You're in danger next turn of not drawing anything that can kill him in one shot.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think I like this. I think this puts him in range.
Hmm.
He takes a lot of damage to do that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Wow.
I don't like that play. I would have at least put Thundersaur in front of Adept before battle, because having him take the damage is fine. Then he's a 11-1. So I'm kind of confused by that play.
Yeah, I agree. Or even Basher maybe. Yeah, you got to do something with that with the Metamind.
Yeah, it seems like he unnecessarily took 11 there.
Well, yeah, and now he sets himself up to lose the Thundersaur for nothing
Right.
to an Epidemic.
Yep, to that Epidemic that he's
Yeah,
clearly
that-
going to play. Or no, actually,
Yep.
Cull's probably better.
I
that
lost
feels like a
count
mistake.
of how many actions.
It
I
turns
played.
out that it would have been either way. He could have saved the Metamind. If
Yeah.
that Thundersaur was left at 1, it would die to the Epidemic.
Yeah, it'll be wow. Luckily, PTK's deck looks like it's going to be amazing anyway, and do great things for him. So he just gets the Sentinel blow out the Adept. Now he's got an Art of Flight, and so while he's in an incredible amount of trouble, he's doing fine. Oh, except for the fact he got no robots. That's just cruel. Oh my goodness. And now we see Devourer 2. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so he's going to adapt. I guess that's okay. But I'm definitely playing Devourer 2.
I think I would put the Adept in front of the Sentinel. It's close. Kind of want to set up... Like, he just set it up so that there's nothing that's going to trade for that Devourer. Although this could be nice.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been better to go Adept maybe in front of the Squadron. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now, so now he just gets to knock off the Devourer right off.
Yeah.
And what was the other card he's playing? Oh, okay. So he's finally getting a Thundersaur down. At the start of player level 3, a level 1 Thundersaur. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he's in trouble. This is...
The funny thing is, he's not in
monster.
as much trouble as it feels like he should be because that Growbots deck is so good, but he drew another really bad hand. And
That Epidemic has been really good, actually.
It has. It's so funny because I always talk about how bad the Epidemic is in this matchup, and it was absolutely crushing.
Yeah.
So
I think, well, he has the Echo Wisp, right? Echo Wisp too, but he did not
I
draw
don't
an
know.
answer.
This looks pretty over.
Yeah, I think this one's done.
I think he battled. Oh, he can't even battle tech. Yeah, I think that's all he can do is that play, and then hope. Hope that there's no buff, which there is.
Cold, Dreadbolt, Epidemic would all do it.
He's got all kinds of stuff. So many ways to win that one. So we're all tied up at 1. Good job, Seoman.
That's good. We don't like blowouts on these forges.
No, we want it to be a nice tight matchup. But that was an interesting one. Oh, actually, let's take a brief moment to pause, and I'm going to do a giveaway. I forgot to do a giveaway before. We want to do giveaways a little bit more often than that. So let's go ahead and do a giveaway. Okay, so if you would like to enter this giveaway, this is for a code. Put in hashtag Forge, and that will get you qualified for a giveaway while we play the next game. All right, wow. So we already have PTK's hand up, and we don't even have the game board. Wow, what is happening here? Oh, PTK must be playing another game. Not sure what he's doing.
PTK's been known to play 16 games at a time.
Not sure exactly what he's doing here. But let's go ahead and get the next game started. Okay, we've got a lot of people wanting a free gift here. Apparently PTK is playing all of his other games instead of accepting this game.
He's cranking out those premiums. Going for that double playset.
I played a game because there's no game to accept yet.
Ah, interesting. Okay. We're waiting. I can see that Seoman has challenged you. I don't know why it hasn't come through. So I'm sure he'll find it soon. There it is. Huzzah. So we have people saying, who doesn't like free things? And I agree. Free giveaways are half of the draw of this event. I mean, not nearly as much as the amazingness that is the games, but... Alright. So here we go. Game 3. This has been a very interesting set of games because the first game, Seoman kind of got rocked. And the second game, he went pretty all in on the Epidemic and just really used it to amazing fashion.
Yeah, we spent the whole game saying how bad that card was going to be for him.
Yeah. The one thing I don't like about Seoman is he made me look foolish. Let's see. I think we're going to go Arc Flight and then Weirwood in the opposite lane in 5, and that seems pretty promising. So if you're Seoman, you're going to play Call, right? Like you're not even going to think about it? You're just going to play Call?
Yep. I have to play Call.
And then
Drix,
probably Drix, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Seems like a straightforward turn.
Yep, pretty paint by numbers beginning. Let's see here.
And just so you know, I'm only seeing PTK's hand when the stream sees it, so I'm a little behind you on
no
some
problems. That's interesting. See, this is a difference between PTK and I. I would have played the Thundersaur. I feel like the Thundersaur wins in this matchup. And that, yes, he does trade this Drix, but he would still trade it for the Thundersaur while leveling the Thundersaur. And I just feel like leveling the Thundersaur is better. What do you think there? Would you have made the Battletech play or the Thundersaur play?
I've heard a lot of people say that that Battletech Patriarch play gives the Drix deck the most trouble.
Okay.
And it's true that there aren't many answers. You can't call the Battletech, can't Dreadbolt it. Epidemic just puts it right back in Patriarch range. So I can't fault him for this. I think, like you said, Thundersaur is one of his best cards in the later levels. That probably would have been my play. I probably would play Thundersaur.
Like in the first game we saw Thundersaur did a lot of work, and then in game 2 he ignored Thundersaur, and it didn't go as well. And I'm not going to say it was a direct correlation, but I do agree though that the Battletech Weirwood is really tough because then Weirwood trades with everything, but Thundersaur is just so good. All right, so that looks pretty good. He can buff he can buff either one. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I would have buffed the Gargoyle.
Yeah, I think so too.
Wasn't Drix going to trade anyway? Oh,
right,
no.
Exactly. They were both going to trade anyway, so that was kind of a confusion.
Oh, no, that's not true.
No?
Drix is only going to be a 6/6.
He was going to be a 6. He was going to be a... Yeah, I guess he was only going to be a 6, so... Yep.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's
right,
just bad.
Let's see here. So, I mean, you could get crazy and just go double Arc Flight and threaten to just completely run away with this game.
No, I think you definitely play the Patriarch. Probably Arc Flight Patriarch, but Gargoyle Patriarch is also good.
Yeah, it's really tough because Gargoyle is phenomenal and Arc Flight threatens to run away with the game. I would seriously be tempted to go Arc Flight, because he's not going to have two
One
calls.
problem with that. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think one problem with that, when somebody goes Arc Flight, it's often good to just leave them both alive because the odds of them seeing 2 extra robots on the next turn can be pretty low.
Right. And especially if we know he's running Echo Wisp, now a lot of the lanes are full anyway, so maybe it's not as good. Oh, the double epidemic. Oh my goodness. Seoman with the impossible answer. Oh, wow. That was really good. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll this giveaway off since we've got a lot of people who have submitted. The winner of the first giveaway is Kalarashital. So congratulations, sir. Your gift will be sent to you in a little bit here.
Yeah, I think that's a clear mistake not to play the Patriarch.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it now. I mean, I was with PTK. I was cheering that play, and Seoman made me look foolish again. So that's not good. So do you go Wisp 1 and 2, and then Basher in 3 to take out the Gargoyle?
Wisp 1 and 3. That seems fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, you don't mind leaving that Matrix Warden around because you can clean him up pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, I guess with the Sentinel blowouts. I mean, you could even do a Sentinel blowout right here.
You might just do the Sentinel blowout, honestly.
Yeah. Actually, that looks pretty good because then the Gargoyle is trapped as well. And he's going to have to trade off. So I think I like that a lot. I think that's probably the best line there. I think you would rather have a Sentinel leveled than a Gargoyle in this matchup anyway. Although, probably not. And I mean Sentinel instead of Basher. I think you do want the Basher to be able to take out those Drixes.
Yeah.
But what is Drix's health at level 2?
12.
12. So they'd have to... we do have a lot of pump in this deck with Battletechs and Matrix Wardens, but it's a little bit dicey.
Yeah, one thing with the Sentinel blowout is that if you don't get Drix and his little minions pretty quickly, they can get out of range where they'll still kill something with that extra armor.
Yep. Interesting. Still no Thundersaur. And now his board is all screwed up, and he couldn't play the Battletech in the middle. It's the only problem with the Echo Wisp. I've been running into the same issue. Is that they're so good, but then they screw you so often. And you're like, do I overwrite it? I don't know. So he was able to get rid of the Drix. He's got a pretty good board. So he can play the Arc Flight, pump it with the Weirwood, and be pretty good shape here.
Yeah, this is a good turn for him.
Yep.
And it just sets up next turn too.
Yeah, I mean now he's 4 guys on the board at 0, and Seoman is sort of reaching here.
That 9/11 Arc Flight is so annoying.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. At least he can trade off the Sentinel. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Don't leave robots around if you can help it, because they will blow you out. So that looks pretty good. That was a decent comeback. The problem is he's going to get a free robot. Oh, and now we see he's going to basically be able to go.
This is a monster turn.
Yeah, like Arc Flight, Gargoyle, Patriarch. Is that what you would do, or would you do something?
It's maybe Arc Flight, Patriarch, Roar.
Yeah, that's the other option. So I'm not sure what the best one is. I haven't actually looked carefully at the board here. Let's see.
It's sometimes tricky to figure out where the Roar fits in, but he's filling up the board so well right now that he's in danger of getting in a spot where he's going to have to start replacing guys.
Right, and if he puts the Patriarch in front of the Warden and then roars, he can at least hope that it will trade off the Warden and live.
So I definitely don't do that. I don't put the Arc Flight in front of Gox.
I mean, if
I like to keep my Arc Flights protected.
Right, if you're going to roar, it can be okay. The problem is where else is he going to put it? He doesn't want to put it in 3 because he's relying.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, he's got a level 3 battle tech.
Yeah, I think that's the right play there, even though it looks awkward. The problem is he's vulnerable to epidemics and things like that.
Except he's not too bad, because even an Epidemic 2 doesn't take out the Arc Flight.
Right, it takes out the Patriarch, but I think he's probably okay with that.
Yeah.
So are we thinking maybe Drix in the center lane to have it live a turn, and then
I sacrifice the Gargoyle, I guess. He's so low.
For the Patriarch. I mean, this is a really bad spot.
The Patriarch lives against the Matrix Warden.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this is where the game spirals out of control for him, because he can't kill either Arc Flight. I mean, this is just insane. Unless PTK has the worst hand ever, I think he's in pretty big trouble.
Yeah, It's tempting to play entirely to an Epidemic 2, like block the 11-13 Arc Flight with the Gargoyle, throw Drix, I don't know where, lane 1. I mean, it's such a bad spot.
Yeah, this is one of those boards where you look at it and just go, okay, he's dead unless something amazing happens.
Well, and that's exactly right. You have to, if it's that bad, you have to play as if the amazing thing will happen.
Exactly.
Because if it doesn't, you're just dead anyway.
Right. So that seems fine. Keep that Drix alive. Now he can play a double Drix.
He's dead on board.
He's dead on board. He's dead on board. Okay. Well, there we go. I wasn't looking at the health total. He's just dead on board. We all knew that game was over, and now it's officially over. All right, so let's do another giveaway. You guys can start, but we'll do a giveaway while you're doing it. So this time, the code for this giveaway will be hashtag PTK, since he won the last one. So put in hashtag PTK, and I'll go ahead and bring the gift box up again, and we'll roll it off in a minute. All right. So we'll see. PTK will accept this challenge, and we'll see. Do you think PTK is going to go up 3-1 here?
I think there's a pretty good chance. But we saw that this is not a blowout matchup. Seoman proved it in the second game.
Yep. Interesting, though, that he's not playing his Thundersaurs, and it's working out pretty well for him. So maybe it is better just to really concentrate in this matchup on battle techs, so that you can more easily trade off those Drixes with, say, Bashers and all your other tricks, Weirwoods and the like.
Yeah, it's funny. I think there are at least 3 different ways to play the Growbots deck that very good players disagree on. I think there's the prioritizing battle tech.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's the AJE style of forcing Gargoyle every time you see it and avoiding Arc Flights except in the best situations.
Right.
And then there's the play Arc Flight as often as you can and go for the blowout every turn.
I think being on the play might be very bad for the Thunderbots deck matchup.
Okay. I'm not sure I agree with that. I feel like being on the play for Thunderbots is always great. Unless you get a really bad hand like PTK got last time where he's seeing his Bashers. I think I would way rather be on the play and just go like Battletech Weirwood.
Yeah, those turn 5 Weirwoods just end the game. If your opponent's not even into their level 2 cards yet.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm acting as if on the play you get 2 cards, but I think you can still go like Arc Flight. Stick that down and get an advantage there, and it feels to me like being on the play is almost always the advantage for the Thunderbots deck. What do you think about that? Have you found matchups where you don't want to be on the play with Thunderbots?
Well, one reason to not be on the play is you want the deck with a lot of removal to draw their level 2 removal when you don't have any good targets. So if Seomon has that turn 5 where he draws, say, a level Dreadbolt or Epidemic, or, well, Dreadbolt and Cull especially, and he has to use it on your wimpy little level 1 guy, that gains you a huge advantage.
I agree with that, and I definitely agree with that in the NT removal matchup. But in this matchup,
it's more pronounced there.
I feel like this isn't a removal deck that Seomon's playing, that he has removal, and whenever he's forced to play removal, I feel like he's getting himself into a disadvantage. And in Game 2, it wasn't necessarily the case, but it just feels like it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, my article on Metamart was about consistency, and it's exactly about that.
What do you think about Devour Gox here, and just setting yourself up for the chance to do pretty good things?
I'm fine with that.
And do you block Tactician with Gox? I'm not sure that I do. I don't think I do.
No, I don't think I do.
I think Gox is too good here. I think you want to use Gox to draw a Drix, play a Drix, draw another Adept, put that in front of the Tactician or a Gox, one of those two next turn. And
it's
then...
not unreasonable to go Matrix Warden after Gox if you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that's true.
If you just want to control the board.
It seems to me that Devour Gox is so good here.
Well, I mean, it's not a great spot for Devour because he's not going to trigger. He'll get bashered away, or he'll.
Sure, but just leveling him, I feel like, is so strong. Getting that level 2 Gox. Right.
If I'm on the other side, Devour is one of the last cards I want to see leveled.
Yeah.
He's the one that runs away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you need to basher that Devour unless you really want to.
I think I just drop a Thundersaur.
Exactly. I think I would block it with a Thundersaur, throw down a Squadron in 5, and...
I would actually throw the Squadron in 2 here, just to leave room for that Echo Wisp.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Forgetting that we have the Echo Wisp in there. Yeah, I think 2 is probably better then. We don't want to set ourselves up yet again for the... Oh, no!
And I mean, you risk getting cold, but he's going to have a tough choice calling the Thundersaur or the Arc Flight.
Yep.
So.
Oh, he's going... He didn't learn from the disaster from last time. And that's kind of a problematic play because you know he has Dreadbolt, so that gives him Dreadbolts and Culls to remove those guys.
Right.
So I don't think I would have double Arc Flighted there. I can't believe he's not playing Thundersaurs. The Thundersaur 1 felt like such an obvious play to me. It's very interesting that he's not
Do you
playing
take out both Arc Flights here if you're Seomon? Or do you
I think
play
I do because it grows the Devourer. Basically, the Devourer is the only card on the board. He doesn't get that big advantage on cards leveled. I don't know. What would you have done there?
I don't think I do. I think I play Drix.
Okay.
You don't. When you're ahead, I mean, you don't want all this removal level.
That's true.
You want your threats and player level 2. Like if it is an empty board going into level 2, and you draw, say, either Drix 2 or Cold Week 2.
Right.
One of them is much better.
What would you have played there? Would you have played the Wisp, the Gargoyle, or the Squadron? I was kind of tempted to play the Wisp for board control, And then flashbacks of epidemics crushing my face went through my head, and I decided that I would probably rather play the Gargoyle.
I would play the Gargoyle. Yeah.
All right, so here, he's got to play Thundersaur or Weirwood. He just has to, right?
He doesn't have to. You could very reasonably play double Weirwood.
Double Weirwood actually would have been really good there, actually, because he could block and kill. Well, I guess he wouldn't kill the Devourer still, but
Thundersaur is definitely fine, but I tend to play Weirwood at almost every opportunity.
I think that's one way we differ. I love Weirwood, but I feel like Thundersaur wins almost all the matchups just straight out. Like, he just wins. If I can get 2 to 3 leveled every level, then I almost never lose those games.
Yeah, I think it can be good either way. I mean, if you draw your level 2 Thundersaur and the level 1 Patriarch, they work together. But the reverse works too.
Right. Okay, so I did a giveaway, and the same person won, and so I'm going to re-roll it because we're not going to give the same person the award. So, K-Jax, you win the next giveaway. Congratulations, sir. We'll do another one after this game.
This is an ugly spot.
Yeah, I mean, at least you can put a Drix on the board, but that Thundersaur, like I said, is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about him? Let's see.
I think it's Drix in 2 and Gargoyle in 4, maybe. I mean, you really hate leaving anything on the board right now.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
he's leveled 2 Weirwoods. The chances are really strong he has one. I'd be very tempted to Matrix Warden that Devourer just to take out that Patriarch.
I definitely think Drix needs to hit the board, though.
I agree. It's like, this is such a tough spot because it is the end of player level 1. So the cards you want leveled are Drix and Gargoyle, very clearly to me. But for the board, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can get away with taking 4. That's not that much. But how do you handle that Thundersaur? Oh my goodness. If I were Seomon right now, I would be very worried. Which is sad because it's so early in this game.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I don't like that. There's so many ways for that Thundersaur to get pumped.
I like the idea, right? So the idea is, I'm not going to let this Thundersaur get even bigger. But if he pumps it, it's such a blowout.
Yeah. I mean, going into player level 2, you will draw some answers. Even if the Thundersaur's at 8 attack, you'll have
because he's got Dreadbolts in his deck, and he drew one here. So he will just be able to Dreadbolt.
So that's where Dreadbolt, like, it feels okay because you're getting rid of a big threat, but he's still spending his level 2 card to take out a level 1.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so even though this is maybe a ho-hum hand, getting that Patriarch is amazing. So for me, I don't even think about this. It's Thundersaur in 4 probably, Weirwood in 1, and I feel great about myself.
Yep.
Right,
yeah,
so.
I love that when you can get a Thundersaur down, have it kill the thing across from it right away, and get pumped.
Yeah, like it's just unbelievable. A 9/13 Thundersaur now. And he's got the Devour, so this is sort of like his last-ditch effort, right?
Yeah, but this is where Devourer's sad.
I mean, he's going to get a bunch of pumps out of him. He's going to get 3 triggers. The problem is, PTK has so much on the board just punching him that it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and he leveled a Botanimate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there it is.
I think I like Thundersaur 2, Botanimate 2. And I think that just wins.
Yep.
See what he does. I don't see how he comes back from that because he has such a big life advantage now and has all these threats on the board.
Yeah, I mean, he drew about as well as he could have hoped with that removal, but it still isn't close to enough.
Yeah, and he's got to call the Thundersaur. So, I mean, actually, it's one of those moments where, kind of like the last game, maybe he's going to be okay. Maybe. If PTK has a terrible hand and can't do anything, he might be okay.
I think the right play there was actually to take out the Battletech. so he stops pumping everything else. But it won't matter either way.
I think he had to take out that Thunder Sword. I think it would have won. I don't, but I agree. I think it's kind of irrelevant.
Okay.
I think you go Gargoyle to Wisp 4/5, and then if he doesn't have an Epidemic, you win. If he doesn't do that much. Oh,
Yeah,
and he's
I
at
like that.
5 health, so yeah, definitely I like that. All right, and he's got his Thunder Sword 2 and 3 in his hand, just in case Seomon comes up with a miracle here. And he does not. Well, what would you do to finish this off, Randall's?
Well, I would definitely play all my Thunder Swords.
I would go Thunder Sword 3 in 1, and then overwrite my Gargoyle in 2 with my Thunder Sword 2. That's how I would finish
Can't go
the game.
wrong.
It's less damage, but it's more, hey, you had no way to come back in this one. All right.
Yep.
Well, good games. Nice job, PTK. Finishing off Seomon 3 games to 1. So let's go ahead and bring in our champion today. Well, we got to cue up his music, though, before we just bring him in. I mean, he can't come into no music. Let's see. I got to expand this thing. It still didn't work. Almost. There we go.
Youngest member of the Wu-Tang Clan was jumped in a Staten Island club and his...
All right. So, welcome back, PTK.
Don't screw me, 'cause if I punch you in your face, you probably try and sue me.
Hey, yeah, thank you. Great game, Seoman. I really just feel that this matchup is just insane for Thunderbots, assuming like both players play correctly. Game 2, like, I just feel like I was on the play and drew really awful. So, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I could have forced Thunder Swords and stole it, but I can't remember enough. Basically, I feel that I want to push the robot advantage and make them level removal spells. Just basically be ahead. And then the backup plan is the Thunder Swords. I just want to press board presence first in this matchup. And I've actually, like, Seoman's one victory over me was the first time I ever lost to, like, a Drix variant with Thunderbots. Granted, Seoman's list is a little bit different than most of them.
Yeah, were you a little surprised to see him going so all in on Epidemic in Game 2 and then seeing it work?
Yeah, it worked out well because my hand was just like, my hands were just really weird. You know, like, yeah, like on the play with just like too many good cards.
Yeah. That was an interesting one. The whole time I kept saying, like, okay, Seoman's in big trouble here. He keeps leveling those Epidemics, and then they crushed you. I was like, well, that's weird. I didn't expect that to happen. If you're
I'm thrown off by the echo. Sorry.
There you go.
Not even sure how to fix it.
There you go. Don't worry about the echo. I think it's fine.
Yeah, you know, it's just throwing me off because I'm trying to listen to you.
Gotcha.
I'm hearing myself.
So the Epidemics were a little surprising, and like I said, I thought the lack of Thunder Swords was surprising, but you have explained quite well why you didn't think Thunder Swords were really the way to go there.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously wasn't looking at the board or the chat or anything, but I had the sound on because I was just kind of curious of what you guys had to say with my bias of not trying to pay attention if you talked about his hand. And
Right.
I'm so focused on what I'm doing that, like, it worked out pretty well. As you could probably tell, as I walked into the one Epidemic turn, that was just terrible for me. I was like, wow, that sucked.
Yeah.
But, I'm not really, like, yeah, I'm not sure. I know Seoman had like some success against Thunderbots in the last event, and I know he finished in, I believe, the top 8 or top 16, and I think a lot of that has to do with people don't know how to play against Drix, but I think if you can put Drix on the back foot, force them to level removal, and maybe not level as many Drixes, I think that's the key. I also, when I'm playing Drix, I also level up Metamind Adept a lot more than other people. And I actually don't prioritize Gox as much as Seoman does. I prioritize Drix, and I try to use Adept to find Drix immediately. And then when I don't have either of those like planned, then I start dropping like Gox.
Sure.
I know that's kind of controversial, but that's how I've been doing it. But I haven't really faced Thunderbots with the deck. All I know is from the Thunderbot side.
Yeah, I played it quite a bit myself. I was prioritizing Gox. I was told that was wrong. It didn't work out very well for me, and I found that Thunderbots was just a terrible matchup for it. For kind of exactly what you did there, where you're just able to put out more guys than the Drix player, and if they can get the Drix chain going, and you can't find Bashers or you don't have Gargoyles on the board, just move over and take them out, then yeah, Drix can go crazy. But you usually do. That's like half the point of the Thunderbots deck.
Yeah. Basically, I just feel that this deck is insane. It's clearly the best deck. Yeah, I can definitely lose. It's not Call Blade, if you're familiar with Magic. But or fairies or anything like that. But it's definitely the best deck right now, and I'm just really excited for set 2 so I can get back to innovating and see what else we can get.
I have a deck that I'm working on that might be able to contend for the top spot in the meta title. So I'll have to see if I can get it to be fully functional. I feel like the top decks are Growbots and NT removal. I don't think Drix is there. I think Drix is like in that next category of very good decks that can beat any of the top decks if things go their way. But I just feel like it's the flexibility of Growbots that makes it so good. And the deck that I'm working on is also a rather flexible deck.
I think right
That's
now
cool.
it's
I'll be
Growbots
interested
by
to
itself
see
for
that
me.
when you break that out.
So what was
I
that handle?
I think right now it's Growbots tier 1 and then a few others tier 2 with NT removal leading that pack. But I feel
Would
like
you say all the way
everybody-
down to tier 2 though, or would you say it's more like tier 1 and then fairly close on their heels as these other decks, or do you think it's as stark
fairly
as
close.
like Growbots tier 1 and then everything else is tier 2?
Well, you can call it tier 1.5 or something. I think Growbots is greater than 50% against every deck probably. Like there's no rock paper scissors going on.
Okay. Yeah, but you would also say it's not like 80% against every deck, right? Like it feels
No.
like it's more in like the 66% range.
Yeah, it's got plenty of matchups that are 60-ish%, but
Right.
none that are actually bad. Does your secret deck have Weirwood Patriarch in it?
Would there be a good meta deck that didn't have Weirwood Patriarch in it?
Just checking.
Okay. Yeah, no, spoiler, it has Weirwood Patriarch in it. And it didn't originally. It just sort of morphed into like, okay, am I not including Weirwood Patriarch because I don't want to include it to make a point? Yes, it does seem that that's the case. Weirwood goes in.
I agree. I agree with pretty much most of what Randall's just said. What I could listen to. I think there's other tier 1 decks besides Thunderbots, but I think, like Zrandal said, that Thunderbots is greater than 50% against all of them for the most part. And like if there's a deck that Thunderbots can struggle against, it's not good enough to beat the other decks. But I think I would put Blue Dex's deck at also tier 1. Um, yeah, and like then like the other Wirewood decks probably tier 2.
Okay. Yeah. The deck that I'm working on right now, it does amazingly well against Growbots until Growbots goes Sentinel Blowout. And then you're just toasted. Because it's so hard to recover from a good Sentinel Blowout.
Yep. Not much does well against the Sentinel blowout.
Yeah. There's no decks that I'm aware of that once you get blown out by the Sentinel, you're fine. You can kind of play around it and try to be okay, but then they're going to get 1 or 2 a game. And oftentimes if they can get off a good enough one, it's just completely soul-crushing, and you generally lose.
Yeah, that's why Gargoyle is so powerful, is he lets you always fight on your own terms. He never can get blown out.
Yep. And he's just moving around. He's just a blowout machine. You can't be anywhere near a Gargoyle. And once they have a Gargoyle 2 on the board, you just can't play cards on the board or they get blown out.
Yeah, you need lane 6 and 7.
Exactly. And then once Gargoyle 3 hits the board, then you're really dead. All right, PTK. Well, thanks for coming on to the Forge. And we look forward to seeing you in our Champion Series, which will be, I don't know, a month or 2 away, maybe longer than that, as we amass more and more champions.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and I had a great time. I want to thank my opponent, SeomanReborn, as I think he had a lot of difficult decisions and made a lot of great plays. And I'm looking forward to the championships week. Take care, everybody. You can find me hanging around my Facebook group if you're around, and I'll type that in the chat. And I think that's about it.
All right, and thank you, Randalls, for filling in for Jake Almighty this week. It was great having you.
Yeah, absolutely.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Zrandals. Zrandals, one of the best in the world. Always a pleasure to have him on board.
Definitely. All right, well, I will see you guys again next week for episode 5 of The Forge, where 2 enter and 1 leaves, beaten, battered, and bruised.